Alright, guys, welcome back to another chapter, chapter 8. This extract is from Jam Remix, so credits to the authors of Jam Remix. This chapter would focus on vertebrate 1 and also vertebrate 1, which include Pisces, amphibians, and reptiles. We'll take questions on these vertebrate. So our question 1 is the part numbered. So we have a diagram here of a fish. The part numbered 12. 12 is, if you check the diagram very well, you discover that this part is called the opacular plate. Opacular plate. Okay, so this part is the opacular plate, which consists of the operculum. Okay, operculum, or it can also be called the gill cover. It could also be called the gill cover. Number 2, during the movement of the fish from point A to target B, one of these parts is not involved. One of these parts, 7, 5, 3, 6, 10, is not involved. Now, I would like to list out the entire part. Take note. The first part is the mouth. The second is the nostril. The third part is the eyes. You can see the eyes. The fourth part is the pectoral fin. This is called the pectoral fin. The fifth part is called the lateral line. The sixth part is called the dorsal fin. The seventh part is called the caudal pedicle. The eighth part is called the caudal fins. The ninth part is called the ana or the ventral fin, or the ana or the vertical fin. The 10th part is called the scales. The 11th part is called the pelvic fin, the 11th part, and the 12th part is called the operculum. So question 2, during the movement of the fish from point A to target B, one of these parts is not involved. The part that's not involved here is option E, which is number 10. And do not forget, I said number 10 is the scales. The scales is not involved in terms of movement of the fish. Question 3, the feature that distinguishes the toad or frog from a fish is the absence of scales. The toad and the fish would have scales. Why? I would go again. The feature that distinguishes the toad or frog, since they say or, it could be toad or frog, from a fish is the absence of scale. Number 3 is option A. Now, I'd like you to jot this point down. The toad has a waxy, dry skin, while the frog has a moist, smooth skin. You could jot that down. Next, number 4. Which of these is not associated with the tadpole stages of the toad or frog? The tadpole stage of the toad or frog. Number 4 is option E, actually the shell. But I would like to give a brief note about the tadpole stage. The tadpole stage is a stage that is a metamorphosis stage of a toad. Okay, so the first stage is that the female will lay unfertilized egg in a string of jelly, and this jelly, and so you're right. Number 1, the first stage, the female lays unfertilized egg in a string of jelly, while the male fertilize this egg externally. Number 2, the eggs hatch into curved tadpole. Number 3, the tadpole comes out of the jelly and attach itself to a water weed by a sticky cement secreted by its V-shaped gland, and it develops external gills. So the first thing the tadpole develops when it comes out of the eggshell is the external gills. Number 4, it develops a mouth part with honey jaw, while its long while having a long coiled intestine. Open bracket. This intestine is due to its herbivorous mode of nutrition, so it eats grass or the weed. Number Next point 5. Number 5, the external gills will disappear and operculum will replace them. Since the tadpole develops internal gills, the tadpole will now develop internal gills like a fish. That's the point 5. Point 6, the hind limbs, that's the leg part of it. The hind limbs appear as knobs, knobs, as knobs in the base of the tail, and the forelimbs will later appear under the operculum. And the last point, which is point 7, the tail would begin to disappear after the limbs are fully developed. So question 4, say which of this is not associated with the tadpole stage of a toad or frog? Option E, the shell. There's no stage that it has shell. Okay, there's a V-shaped gland, there's an operculum, there's external gills, there's a jelly, but there's no shell. So number 4 is option E. Question 5, some of the features of an animal are scales, teeth, and nails and backbones. The animal is likely to be a lizard. The reason is that rats and bats, they do not have scale, but they have hair. Okay, so the animal is likely to be lizard. Number 6, which of the following animals is cold-blooded? When they say an animal is cold-blooded, which of the following animal is cold-blooded? Cold-blooded animals are animals that their temperature varies according to their environment. The correct answer here is option B. The lizard is cold-blooded, and that's why most mornings when the sun is rising, you see lizard comes outside and spread itself. That thing it does is called basking. So those animals are called cold-blooded or poikilothermic animals. While animals that have a stable or a constant body temperature regardless of their external temperature are called warm-blooded animals or homeothermic animals. So question 6, the whale is an homeothermic animal because while it's in the water, is in the sea or the ocean, it still have its own temperature. So even if the water is cold, it's still kind of warm, its blood. Next, the birds are homeothermic. Horse is an homeothermic. Your cat is an homeothermic animal, but the lizard is poikilothermic. Question 7, the main function of the swim bladder is for buoyancy. Now I'd like to give a note before we end this session. The first thing you should note down, the swim bladder, number 1, swim bladder or air bladder is a long, narrow, and thin wall sac filled with air, and it is only found in bony fish. Number 2, the bladder also controls pitch, which involves swimming up or down. Number 3, the bladder is used for respiration in lungfish. The bladder is used for respiration, open bracket, breathing, in lungfish. Next point, jot this last point down before we end this class here. The lungfish activate during dry seasons. At this point, I would like you to snap and send the points you've been able to jot. If you have questions as regards any of these questions attempted here, I would like you to drop them in the comment section or on the WhatsApp group. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.